All right, guys. So we're going to jump right into it today and get a feel for where things are at because it feels a lot like this meme. The guy poking Bitcoin with a stick saying, come on, do something. And it's hard to kind of say that's not true. But then at the same time, we look at the chart to see where we've been. It's like a stark reminder that, like, yeah, remember just a couple weeks ago, okay, maybe 2 months ago now, damn, it feels like weeks ago, we wicked all the way down to 77. And then we started the end of the year or closed the end of the year off in that same range. So it's like Bitcoin has done something, but every time we just consolidate, drop sideways, like this 100 to 112 range, we'll call it 115, this 15K range is just like kick Bitcoin's ass multiple times and we haven't gone through. But the foundation is being laid, the spring is being coiled, so to speak. So I'm going to go through a couple of these Telegram notifications. And it's like, man, when you see these, is how they kind of stack up. It's like something is got to break to the bullish side soon. So let's start. White House officials say Bitcoin's digital gold. That's not enough to like move the market. But I thought this was interesting. General Electric Appliances announces 490 million US investment. So this is all about Trump's plan to bring back jobs onshore. That didn't move the markets. This didn't move the markets. European Union considers lowering tariffs on US imports. So that was news. President Trump says he officially signed a trade deal with China. That didn't move. So we haven't seen Bitcoin do anything with any of this. Publicly traded Bakkt Holding says it may use $1 billion from shelf offering to buy Bitcoin. Nothing moved there. European Union says it's ready to make a trade deal with the US. Remember also, all of this is supposed to like come to a close, I think, especially with the crypto framework around the 4th of July. That was also when Doge was supposed to be fully done. Not Doge, the token, but Department of Government Efficiency. Elon already stepped back. And we've already seen kind of like, they're not even talking about Doge anymore. It's like, yeah, we got to somehow create capital, or not capital, but debase the currency. And we can't cut enough to fix the deficit. So it's like we got to build our way out of it. So Doge has kind of been pushed on the back burner. There's just not enough. We covered that multiple times from what Jack was mentioning, and I showed you guys some charts. But they were fighting an uphill battle, pretty much a forest fire with no way to contain it and massive winds coming in. But that was supposed to be done by July 4th. And I believe these trade deals are sometime around the same time frame. Remember, there's a 90-day window. Brian Armstrong saying we're buying Bitcoin every week. Crypto Czar says David Sachs says July will be a huge month. So that ties into what I was just talking about. There's supposed to be a lot of things getting wrapped nicely in a big bow by July, I believe. So especially July 4th. And we're sitting here right now, the last week of June. By the time you guys see this, we'll be coming up in the first week of July. So we will see, like right now, Bitcoin, let's go to the monthly. What was the monthly close last month? Oh, can't read that. So we've been making higher monthly closes since March. So we had, if you count all this year, let's see, January was green. We had February and March were red. Now we've had 3 bullish months. So closed out April at 90, 94, we'll call it. And May at 105-ish, and then 107. So let's see if we can get a 110, a 115. And it feels like that's definitely in the cards to close out the month. We'll see. But again, there's just a lot of pent up bullish momentum, in my humble opinion. Treasury Secretary Besson says tariffs on China are now 30%, while Chinese tariffs on the US are 10%. So that goes back to that trade deal being finalized. Gas prices are the best in 4 years. Trump says critics on his tariffs should go back to business school. Says Bitcoin takes a lot of pressure off the dollar and it's a great thing for our country. Bitcoin's amazing, says it's producing a lot of jobs. President Trump terminates all trade talks with Canada. So Canada shut the door on Canada. But again, the point I'm getting at is that like all of this stuff hasn't really done anything to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just still consolidating, chopping sideways. S&P closes 500. S&P 500 closes at new all-time high, $6,173. We all know now, watching this channel and educating ourselves on how money works, that this is just our hard-earned economic energy being stolen and thrown into things like this. So of course, the S&P always goes up because we're always getting debased and robbed blind in this fiat Ponzi. This is a big thing on Ripple. I don't care about that. Fed Chair Jerome Powell still stubborn, so nothing's changed with that. So despite all of the positive momentum, yeah, Powell is definitely political in his actions. And I think there was a quote by JD Vance saying he would love to get an honest answer from Powell as to why they cut rates before the elections when inflation was higher than it is now, and it did not show any improvements. But yet now that it's been lower and trending lower, he doesn't want to cut. So that's clearly he has a bias, doesn't like Trump, and Trump just keeps talking about potentially firing him, putting somebody else in. But all I say with all this, it doesn't really matter. Like I told you guys, worst case scenario, Trump or Jerome stays in. Markets are pricing that in. He's stuck there until next May or whatever. And we will just slowly inch up in Bitcoin, or maybe chop solid sideways. Just 100K is the low for this entire rest of the year. Maybe we get to 120, 125 and come back down to 105, then maybe 130 and back down to 110. Like that could be the grind. But when the money printer comes on and you have all of this pent up consolidation, this bullish momentum, this coiled spring being charged for months and months on end that we're seeing right now in the charts, then it just makes the parabolic move that much easier. And what is this? This is already in 1 month, 96K, 70K, wow, 30K. So yeah, we haven't seen that 100K Omega candle, or we've seen multiple 10K candles. That's a 30 candle right there. That's probably another 30K or so right there. So we're definitely seeing that in the charts, but we haven't seen, yeah, that's 20. Like the 100K God candle, Omega candle, I forgot which one Samson Mao calls that. But the point is, things are charged. So I hope you are stacking sats right now. I hope you are not sitting on the sideline. I hope you are actually dollar cost averaging like I am, like every single day. I'm doing $100 a day. Been doing that consistently for the past probably almost 6 months now. And I wish I would have did that, years ago. But, as Michael Saylor said, you get Bitcoin at the price you deserve. So I've mentioned this before. I was too busy fucking around with shit tokens and NFTs and all sorts of ROI dApps. I mean, you name it. And definitely didn't have the Rao Powell 80-20. I had maybe 95 in the shit tokens and 5% in the Bitcoin. Then I probably sold that and tried to double down on shit tokens. So at this stage in the game, it is literally just buying Bitcoin. And I'm not trying to get rich quick overnight. That is the quickest way to get wrecked. But I do, as I showed you guys, and I got to do an update on that now I think about it. I do still have my alts. And alt season, I do believe, is just delayed. It's not dead. I don't know if it'll be a big blow off top. It really depends on how Bitcoin does and if that money rolls into alts like it normally does. As we know, this cycle is definitely different. We've never seen any of this stuff before. So that means alts could be totally different. We have no idea how to digest that. I do believe, though, that alts are still that additional, more risky part of the casino. And it'll definitely still attract the OGs that are in here. They will move the needle into stuff that they're familiar with, jumping across different chains. But also, your top 100s are going to be easy for people getting into crypto on Coinbase, on OKX, on Kraken, on KuCoin, whatever. They will get onto those platforms and then they'll see stuff trending. And then they'll be like, yeah, I'll throw $5 here, I'll throw $10 there, because that's what you do when you first kind of dip your toe into this arena. So I believe because of that, those top 100s, at least top 20 or so, those will definitely pump, especially the ones with the low dollar value, like your Shiba Inus and your Pepe, things of that nature, because people just look at the quantity, the total amount of tokens that they can buy. And again, I did the same shit. So I know that is kind of crypto 101 strategy, because you don't know any better. So if the liquidity printer goes burr, then I do believe we'll still see that alt season. I just don't know how much of it is going to be driven by that retail FOMO, and how much from the existing crypto OGs are they going to move further out on the risk curve, because maybe they too have been burned and learned their lesson like me and they're not going to chase pumps. I have no idea. So we'll see. All right, I just want to show you guys that all these messages, not we call it notifications, updates within the past couple of days for this week. So we got a lot of bullish momentum being pent up, and it's just a matter of time, man. So hopefully, again, you are stacking sats so you do not miss this opportunity. Miss this back here, miss this here, even miss this here. So hopefully you guys are dollar cost averaging, stacking sats. All right, lift daily and achieve your impossible. See ya.